now tuned in to the tap in. We talking again. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Might talk a little shit, get a little brash. Might drink a little bit, smoke a little bit. Vibe a little bit, laugh a little bit. Yeah. Hosted by Fidel. Tell it like it is, only tell it real. Live every Tuesday, you know the deal. We talking again. You now tuned in to the tap.
What's up, everybody? This is Fidel Talking Again podcast. I'm here, another edition of the Tap. This is actually the last edition of the Tap for 2020. And my guest for the end of the year is Andy, Mr. Profile Pod TV. Double A, where'd the double A come from? Let's just get after that right now.
I really love my initials. No, you know, it's funny because Andy Anatomical is what I used to.
Oh, right, yeah.
I was going by the Andy Anatomical earlier this year, and I don't know. It just kind of evolved into double A, man.
Yeah.
It just evolved into double Andy Anatomical. I felt like it was too long.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tongue twister almost, you know, and I liked it. I like Andy Anatomical, and I just kind of shortened it, you know, just kind of, like I said, it just kind of happened, bro.
You got too many. You know, let's say the truth. A lot of the people that you had on were Latinos, and they couldn't pronounce anima. See, like me, anima, they can't pronounce it, bro. We just can't do it.
Yeah, you know. So I think I just simplified things, bro.
Did it ever cross your mind to go A through Z?
Yeah, yes,
A through Z,
and but I've done that in the past with other ventures.
Yeah,
you know, and I just kind of wanted to do something totally fresh, totally new, and I like double A. You know, it's just it feels right.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm comfortable. Yeah.
All right. Well, if in another life you ever want to mess around and just maybe you consider alphabet. A through Z, right? Alphabet.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I normally don't drink so early, you know, in the podcast, in the episode, but these are so damn good.
Oh, yeah.
It's like drinking chocolate, you know?
Absolutely. Shout out to Mrs. Adams, Oatmeal Stout, Alosta Brewing Company.
Alosta Brewing here in Covina. So, yeah, great shout out. But so anyways, we're going to start off the show by kicking 2020 the fuck out of here, dude.
Fuck out of here.
Let's just start it off like that, you know?
Let's do it, man.
There, dude. It's been crazy, huh?
Oh gosh, man. It's well, let me say one thing, Peter. Before we even start, man. Let me just say that I want to thank you for having me here in the tap room. We just met a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And but when I first saw your podcast, man, when I first stumbled upon it, I was like, man, that is awesome. He's got a studio, he's got his little setup there, and I was so impressed. And and I even told you the first time I saw it, I think we were on a live.
Yeah.
And I was telling you, and here we are. I'm here now in the tap room. It's reality. It came to fruition.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing, man. I want to thank you for having me here. I want to thank you for all the good work you've been doing with the 12 days of Tapmas.
Yeah.
That's some amazing work that you've been doing, man.
Yeah.
Big shout out to all of the supporters, everybody who's giving stuff away. I was a winner.
Yeah, you were. You were.
Yeah. Shout out to Jocelyn at Meet
Me at the bar.
Meet me at the bar.
That's right. You did win that.
I got my soap in the tray, and yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, man, and it's really been great to see you doing your thing, and you do some amazing stuff, man. And
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, I've learned so much since I've been here, man, tonight, and I just wanted to say that. Thank you for having me on, man. I'm excited. I'm pumped up, man, about tonight. Today's been such a great day because as you know, I just came from the toy drive, and then I'm here now. My schedule is, man. When I
can't imagine, man. When you get home, you're probably gonna knock out.
Yeah, my wife's gonna kill me too. So we won't get into that though.
No. Dude, so how is that? So when you're because obviously fellow podcaster right here, he's got his own podcast, Profile Pod TV. If you don't know, go check it out. You can follow any of his platforms. I'm sure we're gonna do a play after this, but why don't we do it now since we're getting at it? Profile Pod TV is available on YouTube, right? Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Absolutely, all the major platforms. Yeah, Profile Pod TV on YouTube, Profile Pod TV _ on Instagram, and Profile Pod TV on Twitter.
There you go. So when you're out there, you started what, 2 years ago? Almost 2 years ago?
Almost 2 years ago. It's actually
Next month.
Yeah,
Next month.
January 21st, 2019 was my very first episode, man. Started with the 90s Galore, and you know, I don't want to get too hard, you know, ahead of ourselves here, but yeah, I started almost 2 years ago, man, with 90s Galore.
Well, no, I mean, like, we don't. Okay, so like I told you earlier, like I normally have bullet points and I have notes for my interviews, but this one I was like, it's the last year, it's the last one. Let's wing it. Let's just go freestyle.
Let's do it.
You know, we're gonna get to know each other tonight. Like we're gonna become friends, right?
We're gonna dive right in
tonight. So no notes. So we're just gonna wing it. There is no structure. There's no format. 90s Galore. How did that get started? What's 90s Galore about? When I first saw 90s Galore, I thought, okay, this guy's like a DJ. You know, maybe maybe he plays 90s music. I don't know. Like, so
the latter, bro. 90s music. Well, here's the thing, man. It stems even farther back than that. You know, the whole reason I even started podcasting, you know, there's several reasons. The first being that, you know, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I've always, I've done some acting in the past. You know, I wanted to get back into the world, man. I wanted to start something. I wanted to get fulfill those entrepreneurial, you know, desires, you know, goals. So, you know, and like I said, I've done some acting. So how do I get back? What can I do to kind of merge those two things together?
Yeah.
And I started doing some research. I started brainstorming, So, cause you know, and another thing, I wanted to give it another shot. You know, I wanted to, go after my dreams again, you know? So I said, you know what, it's time, cause I'm not getting any younger, you know, and I'd rather say, at least I tried, you know, I tried, man, rather than say, I wish I had, you know? So, you know, so I started brainstorming and I started looking into podcasting. And I found Anchor, you know, as you know.
Yeah,
you can do it, everything on your phone, right, on a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing, so I started thinking, okay, well, I started little by little researching, looking into stuff, podcasting. Okay, well, there's Anchor. I have a friend, shout out to Rod Richard. He's a guy I used to coach with, and he's the one who turned me on to Anchor.
Mm-hmm.
He said, check it out, man. It's like a one-stop shop. You can do everything on there. Yeah. And so I looked into it, man. Sure enough, you know, so I started, okay, so now I decided, you know, okay, I'm going to podcast. Now you know, what's my podcast going to be on?
Right.
So now I got to figure it out. What's my niche going to be?
What's your genre?
What's my genre, right? And so I figured, you know what? I love music. Because, you know, I wanted to, obviously, if you're starting a podcast, it has to be something you enjoy talking about, man, you know?
Right.
You have to find that.
Something you're passionate about.
Exactly. So I come from a musical family. I love music. I grew up in the 90s. I love the 90s. There it was, you know, so I named it 90s Galore. And basically how that started was just, you know, on Anchor. I was literally writing out my my podcast on every word for word.
Oh, really?
Verbatim.
Like a script.
Like a script. And just reading it, you know, and just trying to make it sound.
How fast did you throw that shit out? Did you actually do like your first podcast like scripted?
I did, man.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? No, here's the thing. When I first started, I had bullet points, key points, talking points.
Yeah, right.
And then I would try to fill in the words, and it just wasn't working for me, you know? So I said, you know what? I'm going to write everything down, everything. So I wrote everything down, man. And, and it was taking a long time. You know, the pre-production was like, you know, pain in the, you know what? Because I was sitting there writing all week, you know, and you know, little by little, I got more comfortable and it's just like anything.
Yeah.
You know, the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you become, man. And I finally got to the point where, okay, now I can go away with this.
Yeah.
And I started having, and I went back to the talking points.
Yeah. But
this time I was able to fill in the gaps and connect all the talking points with natural conversation, conversation.
Yeah.
So that, so here, and then, so 90s Galore went through all the 2019, you know, I was profiling guests, I'm sorry, not guests, musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And,
was it mostly musicians being 90s Galore or?
It was mainly musicians. I started doing movies,
Okay.
90s movies.
90s movies.
Started
So we're
doing-
still keeping it 90s, right?
Mm-hmm. But then I did this thing called the wild card, where anything went. I could talk about anything.
Current, past, present, future, whatever.
Exactly. Any genre, any era, any band, any type, whatever. Movie. If we want to do a movie, a television show.
Yeah.
The wild card, you know. So we did that, man, and I had a lot of fun throughout the whole, all of 2019. And then I started getting more comfortable, started getting more confident behind the microphone.
Yeah.
And then 2020 hit. I still had 90s Galore, rolled over to the new year. And then right around February, I started feeling like I want to do more. You know, I want to connect more with my guests, the people that I'm bringing on the show. And I want to talk about them, get more personal on the human side of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we were just talking about other human beings, you know, obviously with musicians and
Right.
actors. We're talking about bands, and which was great. But I felt like just my heart, you know, was kind of telling me something. So I my cousin, shout out to Danny. He was, you know, he was doing a profile pod. He was on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, check this out, man. And so he kind of turned me on, put me up on game, and turned me on to the YouTube thing.
Yeah.
And StreamYard.com, which is another just a live stream platform.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I started thinking, okay, wow, man, this is cool, man. I got to do this. So I figured, you know, I'm going to start bringing on guests who are, you know, doing amazing things, you know, and I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to showcase them. I'm going to shine light on them, put them on a pedestal, edify them.
Yeah.
And so I got to think of a name. So we're going to profile someone. It's a podcast. Let's shorten Profile Pod, put it on YouTube TV. Profile Pod TV was born.
Nice. Yeah.
And started that, bro, probably like a couple weeks after the pandemic.
Yeah.
And here we are, man. I'm like 38 episodes in. 90s Galore has since taken a back seat. Haven't done a 90s Galore podcast episode. Oof, man, I want to say probably since February now,
Wow.
March.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's kind of like in a nutshell how everything kind of transpired.
Yeah. You think about doing like maybe a throwback for your 1 year, like a 90s, you know, 90s Galore, bring it back, you know, bring in somebody. Well, you know, what would be cool is if you bring in an actual artist that was big or is still big, but was in their prime back in the 90s, and then bring them in. Like we gotta find you that guest. We gotta hit up Mellow Man Ace. Check this out, baby.
Let's be real, man.
Be real.
You know, that's one hell of an idea. I like that.
You know what I mean? Like that'd be pretty cool as a 1 year. You know, like or it would be your 2 year.
2 year.
But yeah, your 2 year. But it'll be a throwback to the 90s Galore. You know,
absolutely.
That'd
man.
be pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, man. We got you know, in 90s Galore and just the podcasting journey. We were talking about this earlier, man. Like ever since I started podcasting, but mainly this year, man, things really, really began to pick up a lot of steam.
Yeah.
In 2020, and but you know, it's been great meeting so many people, man, such as yourself, obviously here, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, the list goes on. You know, so many people that I've met, all my guests that have come on to either 90s Galore or Profile Pod TV. You know, much love, big shout out to all you guys, because you know, for someone to come on, take their time out,
yeah,
and out of their day, out of their families, their life in general. I mean, that's really a special thing, you know.
Yeah.
So big shout out to everyone who's ever been on my podcast, man. I love all you guys. I appreciate you coming on, taking the time, and you've helped me, you know, develop my skill set in doing this podcast thing, and being being someone who's behind a microphone, and pretty much, you know, we're performing, we're putting on a show.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is, you know, we have to be entertaining. We have to get the audience to engage.
Yeah.
You know.
And well, that's the goal. But this literally is the easiest part of podcasting, is when the mic goes on and you're like talking. That's the easiest part of it. And that's what I try to tell people is like, producing a podcast where calling guests and setting that up or pitching it or like promoting the episode, that, and then now fast forward to post-production. Now you got to get that thing up and ready. You do yours live, so it's a little bit different, but
yeah,
like when I do mine, like this one here, there's gonna be a post-production part of it, so I gotta produce it afterwards, and that's a whole nother job, and then you got to promote that episode, so it's just the easiest part is when we hit record and we start talking. That's why we do it though, for that part. And then everything else is like, well, you're paying, that's your dues that you pay.
Absolutely, man. But I liken it to playing sports, bro.
Right. Okay.
I mean, especially in football. I'm a football player. I grew up playing football.
I would have never guessed that you played football.
I was a receiver too.
No, really? Oh,
no.
I was gonna say what?
No.
Tight end.
D line.
Yeah.
Defensive lineman. But where was going?
The analogy of using sports to podcasting.
Exactly, especially in football. Where you go the whole week preparing for one night. And there's all this effort, all this energy going into that one night. And the preparing, and this is what it's kind of like, man. You spend a lot of time preparing for this moment, for this 1 hour, and give or take a few, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, people don't. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but for me, man, and I wasn't always going live, Yeah, so I know it's and still when, the pre-production, the post-production, it's a lot of time and energy, effort, work. But we love it, man. We love it. This is why we do it. I love it, man.
Well, another reason why we do it is we, like you had said earlier, was showcasing and featuring. So, that's one of the things that we do here is showcase when we feature. Same concept. I've been doing this since, I think, I'll tell you 2.5 years, maybe already. Yeah, 2.5 years I've been podcasting, and that's exactly what we do. Showcase, feature the guests, right? How they say, like, less is better, right? Like less is more. Less is more, right? I never get these sayings right, dude. Never, dude. Never. So
I got a book. I'll get you the book.
Thank you, man. Because I've been looking for that, but I still can't find it. Less is more.
Amazon has it, bro.
It's a lot of things that Amazon has, man. That's why I got so rich.
Or just Google it.
Yeah, that's better. Google. No, so yeah, it's just less is more. So when I can ask a question to someone and they can just go off for 20 minutes, I'm like, sweet, dude. That's like a quarter of the interview already, like great,
Yeah.
But no, I mean, really, that's what it is. It's featuring the guests. It's there's a reason why we do it. We're interested in the guests that we have on. I wouldn't get someone on that was just like, hey, here, just get this person on. Like I've had people like, hey, can you get this person on? And then it's like, well, let me get back to you,
Yeah.
And this person might have a lot of followers, but that's not why I do it. We don't do it for the followers. We do it for the conversation, for the whole, because you're interested in the guests,
Exactly.
And that's kind of why I was talking to you about it earlier, where I still do the same thing that I was doing in day one, where I try not to do more, like I know that a lot of people tell me, like, well, you should let the podcast grow. You got to do this and that. And it's like, nah, I just want to let it do its thing, and I'll take my baby steps, like I'm not, I remember Joe Rogan saying, and obviously that when he was doing it was when podcasting was in its infancy.
Yeah.
And it took him 6 years to get his first sponsor. 6 years. So
really, Joe?
Yeah, 6 years.
Wow.
So that just goes to tell you that when he was doing it, he started out doing it because the same reason that we're doing it now, for the love of it, the passion.
Yeah.
Now he still may have that love and passion for it, but he's getting
paid.
I mean, paid, right? Spotify.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, if it comes, it comes. That's the way I see it. Not everybody sees it that way. Now I know, you said you did acting, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to get back into that whole, hey, let's just, what am I going to do? How am I going to showcase it, myself, right?
Right.
Like, I don't see it that way. I just want to just have fun. It's my hobby. And just, if it comes, it comes.
Yeah.
I
hear you, man.
But, because I don't want to put that much pressure on myself. I don't know. So it's one of those battles that I go with through all the time.
Well, I mean, you know, you go with what your heart tells you, right?
Yeah.
I think, but you know, for myself, man, like I would love to make a living doing this. You know, for me, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah.
You know, making a living doing this, and like, you know, going back to the acting stuff and being in that arena, and excuse me, you know, yeah, man. And another thing with podcasting going back to what I was saying earlier, is it allowed me, it gave me the accessibility, you know, to get back into the world of entertainment, you know, behind a microphone, you know, because acting right now, you know, getting back into acting is probably not the most, it's not plausible right now. I mean, it could, I could do it, but am I going to go quit my full-time job right now with a family, and, you know, so my circumstances have a lot to do with the situation. So, so basically this is where, I'm at, man. Yeah. Podcasting again afforded that opportunity, opened that door. And here I am, man. And I'm on the tap room with you. Yeah. And I think I'm on a path, man. And I'm really driven. I'm very motivated right now to, you know, just enjoy this ride as well. But let's see what happens, man. You know, I'm going to take it where, you know, I'm not going to stop. You know, even, you know, there's days where I'm like, you know, I'm tired, or because I have a full-time job. I have a family, my kids, I have very young kids. Shout out to my kids, you know, but you know, man, like I said, man, there's certain things that I want to do in life. And that I want to experience certain things in life, man. Yeah. And you know, like, again, going back to I don't want to live with regrets, you know. I don't want to live with regrets. I want to be like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this thing. I'm not going to, you know, why am I going to hold myself back? Right. You know? So that's kind of where I'm at, man. And this is, you know, I'm giving it 100%. And, you know, again, it goes back, work ethic comes into play, dedication, commitment, you know, professionalism, all of these things come into play, man. Because like I said, I'm in it to win it, and I got to do it the right way. Yeah,
so. No, I know you say you wanted to, like, you know, kind of hone your craft, so you want to take those steps, you know, always, you know, moving forward and getting those reps, because, you know, you as an athlete, repetition right makes better, right? So reps. You got to keep doing it until you get better and better and better, and then later on those guests start coming in, those big names, you know. And that's definitely how you're going to get better. Now, some people might say that in the podcast game, it's not what you do, it's who you know. You know, like, so if you get a certain guest on, that'll just go, here you go. And then they're going to give you 10,000 followers. Now you're ahead of the game, right? But just as fast as you went up, that's as fast as you can go down.
Well, you know.
So putting in those reps is very important. That's what I'm trying to say.
You know, and that's a great point. Because let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. I had Francisco X Rivera. I don't know if you know who that is. No. He was on 90s Galore before I started Profile Pod TV. He was on February. Okay. And when I listen to that interview now, compared to where I am now, you know, where I was back then, and compared to where I am now, I don't think I gave a good interview. You know, I don't like the way I conducted that interview with Francisco X Rivera, and he's that guy's on Fox Sports. Oh wow! He's a reporter for MMA. One of the MMA. Gosh, forgive me. One of the MMA companies,
like UFC or Bellator.
Not UFC or Bellator. It's another one. It's slipping my mind right now. But he's on all kinds of different. Guy's big, you know. Mm-hmm. He's a Spanish voice for the LA Kings. Oh wow! Yeah, shout out to Francisco X Rivera. Yeah. Yeah, amazing guy. I applaud him for you know, giving me the honor of bringing him on. And anyways, the point being is that he was a big time guest, and I don't think I was ready to have him on. Yeah. And that's just being me, you know, being critical of myself. But the point being is that, you know, sometimes you could get that big name guest or that big whatever celebrity. And it might not pan out for you, you know, the way you expected it to. Like you just say, you know, you might not get those 10,000 followers. You know? Yeah. And I take that I put that on myself. Yeah. Yeah. because it probably wasn't the right time to bring him on. You know,
Mm-hmm. It's that Canelo versus Mayweather, right?
Yeah.
It was Canelo took that fight too young. That's what a lot of people say that, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They say Canelo took that fight way too young. If he would have done it in his prime, which is who he's in now, he would have took Mayweather out.
Case in point, bro.
Right?
Case in point.
So yeah, no, there's a lot of that. You know, a lot of it too is the reps, like we're talking about. You know, being comfortable. Like you said, now, you know, if you were to conduct that interview now, I'm sure it would be a lot different, right? Absolutely. Obviously, in hindsight, not to say 2020, but right, in hindsight, like everything is 2020. So we learn from all that. We learn from those experiences. You know, I know I've had many of those interviews. I'll probably still have some of those where maybe I wasn't feeling it. That's another thing I was telling you. Like sometimes you're just not feeling it. I've canceled an interview because I wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't feeling the day. Like not a good day. Why would I put that out there? Like I have before, and I forced myself to make an interview, and I just didn't feel good. You know.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's okay to just cancel it, dude. Like just, man, if you're not feeling it, dude, don't do an interview. Same thing for the guest. You know, like if you have a guest that's just is giving you a runaround or it's not, you know. Take that time off, man. Just take a week. Go solo. You know, that's another one that I go solo sometimes when I don't have a guest. It doesn't line up. I'll do a solo cast. You know, I don't know if I coined that or not, but I started putting solo casts out where it's just me by myself and I'm talking, and that's challenging, my friend. That right there is where you're just like, you know, you have a plan of how you want to get a 45-minute podcast out, and you're done in 15 minutes. Exactly. And then you got to start all over again because you want to extend it a little bit more, you know?
And that's how that's how I started. Yeah, you know, doing those solo casts. You know, reading and stuff. And like I said earlier, man,
scripted ones.
It's that's challenging, man. Even now, you know, just putting a microphone in front of you and just talking into it by yourself, and being engaging and being dynamic and you know, enthusiastic and energetic and holding the audience's attention to. You know, by yourself. Yeah. I think if you can do that effectively and really well, I think that's a great skill, man. You know, and like you say, that's challenging, but I'm gonna try to do that again soon, bro. You know, you'll be
see where I'm at. Yeah. It'll be one of those like surreal moments, you know, like from when you first started and you're like, what? But I'm sure that you've learned to pace yourself on the way you speak, that you don't have to like rush everything out all at once. Because I know when I started, I was just like, let me try to get all this out just all at once, you know. And I was afraid of the pause, afraid of the moment, afraid of dead air, you know. Like where now I'll embrace it. Yeah, you know, that dead air. Like I'll use it maybe sometimes as a crutch, but at the same time, if you use it right, it might even come off as like a great pause in an interview where you know.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. 100%, man. You know, again, it goes back to, you know, repetition, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was the same way, man. I was trying to get everything in, you know, try to be quick, you know, and it just, with time, I got better. I got more comfortable behind the mic. I got more confident, man. Yeah. You know, you're just sharpening your knife, man. That's all it is, you know. It's again, man. It goes back to anything that you do in life, man. The more you do it, the more, you know. You always hear the term muscle memory. Oh yeah. But podcasting, man. It's a.
Well, that muscle memory, it kind of, to me, muscle memory is like, it's like the same as comfortable. It's like comfortable, right? Where you get comfortable, and when you're comfortable, it's when you're at your best. So there's times when. Even now, like I'll still do my tap rooms and I kind of rush through them because I know that at the very beginning, you got to kind of get them engaged and you want to try to make it sound like a party, right? You know, so you want to, you know, keep it going. But then there's times when you're on, dude, and you're going 10 miles, you know, 100 miles per hour, it's hard to stop. It really is. You know, like, so I have to slow myself down sometimes when I do lives. When I do podcasts, I know I can slow it down because I still remember that it's just a conversation that I'm having with the person in front of me. Now, them over there, they're a fly in the wall. That's the way I see it. They're a fly in the wall. So maybe I break the fourth wall every once in a while, but for the most part, I try to keep it as, you know, 3 walls. just right here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly, man. You know, when I was podcasting, you know, a year and a half ago, again, man, you know, it was just, there were times where I just didn't, I'd get freaked out. I'd psych myself out and just didn't know what to say. You know, like you said, dead air.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes you need those moments of pause to emphasize a certain point or to let something kind of
saturate or
to drive the point home.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? So you have to be strategic as well, methodical, you know, with your conversation and your pauses and the way you format your conversation. It's really cool, man. Everything I've learned since I started doing podcasting, man. And, you know, and every day you have to continue to learn, sharpen your skills, hear other podcasts, hear people on the radio or professionals who are getting paid to do it. And just to be a sponge, absorb information and continue to just learn, man. Learn, man. Because like I said, every day I'm learning something new, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, you know, I always find it difficult to do the Zoom recording. Like, you know, well, they say Zoom, but it's a video conferencing or whatever you do, right? So most of the ones that you do are video, right? Because you're recording with people from East Coast, from, you know, the Midwest. I mean, you're recording people from everywhere. I think you had some people from the ATL, right? Not so long ago.
ATL, I think that was a live. Yeah, but no, yeah.
But like, so it keeps you engaged, but then at the same time you're live and you gotta come up with shit quick on the fly, you know, like where you can go back and edit, like, or I can go back and edit all these. I don't, because it's just too much work. Let's be honest. It's too much work. But two, I just like the real raw unedited version, you know, episodes, you know. I prefer that. And I know people tell me, I get that a lot. Like, you need to cut your shit down and make it 20 minutes and you'll get more views. Really? Yeah. I get that. And I respect their opinion. You know, I do, because it's constructive criticism, and that's what you want.
Right.
You know, you want that. So I do try to like shorten up my interviews and to make maybe not as long, you know, I'm not going to be doing 3-hour shows like Joe Rogan. I don't think I could captivate an audience that way, you know, like, or maybe I can, but I don't know if I have 3 hours to do, even though we've been on for almost 3 hours. Yeah. You got here like at 7:30.
Jeez.
And I think we're at 10. So we've been on. Yeah.
Well, you know, I did the longest show I've ever done was with Mega Man and Chris of the Kickback Podcast LA. Shout out.
Yeah.
We did close to 3 hours.
Damn.
And it's on YouTube now.
Yeah.
And the first one I did with Mega Man was
whose platform was that on?
That was my platform. Profile Pod TV.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, those are long episodes, man.
Yeah.
Those are long, but you know, it's easy. Yeah, it's a lot easier when you have somebody else or two other people. You know, two guests.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely, man.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like you gotta. To me, that's a little bit more challenging. You know, doing it live, and then and then they're not even in the same room as you. That's got to be difficult just in its own right there, you know?
It's an interesting dynamic,
yeah.
Fidel. It's a really interesting dynamic because, like I was telling you earlier, man, there's times where the first time I'm meeting, well, most of the time is I'm meeting my guests for the first time.
When you guys go live?
When we go live.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything's been prior to that. We might have a conversation on the phone here and there, but I mean, 99% of the time it's just through texts and DMs and messaging, maybe audio messaging as well. But I mean, so it's a really interesting dynamic, man, when we go live. And for me, that's part of that's a huge, huge point of why I do it, because it's so fun, man.
Yeah.
And I liken it to, again, going back to the athletic analogy, you know, this football analogy, where that morning I wake up, man, it's game day. It's game day, bro. Yeah. I'm thinking about that podcast, that episode, that whole day leading up to it. You know, I go live at 9 p.m. most of the time. And so I have the whole day to kind of just get my mind right and just really think about that episode, what I'm going to say, what it's going to look like, my guest, so a lot goes into it, man. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, man, going live, It's a lot of fun. It really is, man. And the first time I did it, it was, you can go back and look at the episode now on Profile Pod TV. I did it with my buddy James. Big shout out to James Taylor, my friend, because he was a big supporter of the 90s Galore podcast.
Yeah.
And I asked him, hey, dude, do me a favor. I'm going to start this new platform. I'm going live on YouTube. He's like, what? You're going live?
So the 90s weren't live? Those 90s Galore?
The 90s weren't.
Oh, okay.
No, they were just an audio version.
Yeah.
So the Profile Pod TV is when I started doing that, that was the whole live component coming to fruition. And so I brought on James, and for the first time I did. You can go, like I said, you can go on watch that episode on Profile Pod TV and on YouTube. And big shout out to James, like I said. And we did that episode, man, and it was a really cool dynamic, man. It's a really cool dynamic and a cool experience going live on a camera and on a podcast. Man. Man, if you would have asked me, 3 years ago, if I was, if I would be doing this or anything remotely close to doing something like this, I would have said, nah, man, I would have looked at you crazy.
No, same here. Like I would never have thought. I'd be doing something like this, but now that I'm doing it, it's fun. Like I still get a high when I finish recording, and I walk the guest out. I still get that high after it might be like 11 o'clock and my wife's about to go to bed, and I'm like, wait, don't go to bed. I want to tell you about my show. It was fun. It was exciting. Let me tell you. Like I still get that. 2 years later, I'm still at that point. So it's fun. It's fun. But keeping that sports analogy part of it, when you go live, like do you feel you're calling a lot of audibles and like, where you have your notes, but you're not necessarily sticking to them because, the guest wants to go somewhere else. So you gotta like, how is it that you're working out those audibles? Like, are they all off the cuff? Or is it something that you think about, like scenarios before you record, or what do you think?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. That's a great question. I think I do put together my key points, my talking points, and I'll share them with the guests. And sometimes those audibles come into play where we'll just go in a different direction, and then if we start going into a different tangent that's far off, then I'll just come back to my talking points and then kind of get back to the script or quote unquote script. But for the most part, it's a free flowing conversation, man. Wherever the conversation goes is pretty much where the direction we're going to go. Because I'm all about my guests being comfortable.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to make my guests feel uncomfortable in the slightest. And so wherever he or she wants to talk about, with there's certain parameters, there's right. Kind of when those are, and you kind of improvise as you go along, and but then at the same time you kind of you're staying on track for the most part,
right?
For the most part, but it's cool how you kind of gauge your guest, and again it goes back to making sure that if they're comfortable and they want to go there, it's all good, man. Yeah, it's all good.
Well, that it's kind of like you become a little bit of a chameleon, where you have a certain way that you want to do it, and that's the way that you do your podcast, and you have an idea of how you want it to start, finish, everything, but then once it happens, that's when the chameleon thing comes in, and you gotta adapt, right? We gotta adapt. We gotta change it up and see where the guest takes you. Because I'm the same way, where I want to go where if the guest wants to go somewhere, okay, well, we'll go there. If I'm comfortable enough to go there, we'll go there. And most of the time, like I'm comfortable enough to go with anywhere because again, I'm very easy. I can compartmentalize a lot, so I'm really well. So I can go anywhere. There's about nowhere that I can't go. I mean, when you're interviewing with the Mega Man, there's sometimes you gotta go, hey, but
let's reel it back in.
Come back. Yeah, because he can go some places some dark places, man. No, but he's fun.
Yeah. Shout out to Mega Man.
But no, it is cool though. Like when you're podcasting and you're kind of doing that interview, like it is an interview, and you try not to make it an interview, you try to make it a conversation, but at the same time it is an interview, so you do have to try to conduct it in the way that you want it to, but sometimes the guests want to lie to, and you got to let it go, man. Let it breathe, right?
Yeah,
Let it do its thing.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah.
That's you hit it. You bring up a great point, man. You really do.
Yeah.
And and that's part of the challenge of podcasting, you know, being an interviewer is encountering those situations, those moments where something's, you know, it's inevitable. Something might happen where, you know, something will go astray or a different direction that you weren't expecting, right?
Right.
But you kind of that's, again, you know, you have to have that skill, man. It's a skill to be able to keep things on a certain level, a certain track, a certain course throughout the conversation. And I mean, it's funny you mentioned chameleon, bro.
Yeah.
And this is a true story, man.
Yeah.
I was in the Navy, you know, and they used to call me the chameleon.
Oh, really?
The social chameleon.
Yeah.
Because I can go. I was hanging out with everyone, man. I was hanging out with the Latinos, the Mexican dudes. I was hanging out with the black dudes. I was hanging out with the white guys.
Yeah.
The Filipinos. I could get along with everyone, bro. and people would tell me, "Hey, man, you're a chameleon. You're a social chameleon, man. You kind of," and they would make fun of me because they said I would talk my speech would change.
Yeah.
With each kind of ethnicity.
Yeah.
Like you talk different to the white guys than you do with the Latinos.
So your cadence was always altering to wherever group you were at.
I was adapting to my surroundings, man. I was a chameleon. And then when I got out of the Navy, a whole different life. Right, I came back home to Rancho Cucamonga. Came back home, and I started playing ball. I decided to go play football, you know. And at Chaffey College in Rancho Cucamonga, and they were also calling me the chameleon.
But they didn't know anything about the Navy stories and none
true
of that.
story, exactly, bro. And they would call me the chameleon. Same thing, because I was hanging out with the black dudes. I was hanging out with the Latinos, the Mexican dudes.
Yeah,
I can get along. I was, again, adapting to my surroundings, man. The chameleon, man.
Nice.
So I'm just, you know,
no,
that's funny you bring that up.
Yeah, your song. So, you know, if we want to get an intro song for the Profile Pod TV, you may have to pay for some licensing rights, but it's that one song in Spanish that goes, "Came, came, cameleón, yo soy el cameleón." You remember that song? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
It might have been a 90s song. I don't remember, but you might have to look that one up. But
it just happens to be a 90s. That's the song,
right?
Yeah, but what is that licensing? What do you think that costs, man?
It can't be more than $100. I mean, I don't even know who sung that song. To be honest with you, I've had some musicians on like banda stuff, but I can't. My memory doesn't go for that far back to Chameleon. What is it? Banda Machos? I don't know.
Gosh, I don't know.
I have no idea, dude. We literally would have to Google that shit. I don't have my phone on me.
Exactly.
But no, it's fun, dude. Like I enjoy talking to people that enjoy what they're doing, and you definitely seem like you're enjoying what you're doing. I can't wait to see more things of what you're doing. You know, it's gonna be fun. 2021. More collabs, you know, that's always fun too. You know, I always say like let's not join teams, but we can always do a collaboration of things, but keep it yourself, because you know you're always gonna be Andy.
Yep.
You're always gonna be Profile Pod TV unless you change it to another name, because you know you're you know you got a habit of changing names. No,
I'm the chameleon.
The chameleon, but you're always gonna do your thing and do your thing, and then when they ask you like, hey, come join this group that we have over here of podcasters, that's when you're like, wow, you know, then you're limited, right? So, you know, that's kind of like when you know, I don't know if I want to do that.
That's it.
Because I've been asked a few times, and
Me
like,
too.
you know, why don't you join this network and this and that? I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't like gangs. You know, but I make light of it. I make light of the situation, but it's true, man. Once you start doing that, it clicks, you know, and it's like, I'm not in high school anymore, and it's just easier to do things. You're fine what you're doing, you know, like it seems like you love what you do. You're doing great at it, you know, like why would you join a club or something like that? You know, like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I've been, you know, it's a great point, man. I've been approached, and yeah, it's you know, no, they're great opportunities, man. And you know, the fact that I was approached, I mean, that tells me that people are taking notice, you know. People are, you know, you're doing a good thing.
Which is great. Yeah, it's a great compliment.
It's absolutely, man. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. I say, you know, I can't say that enough. I can't emphasize it enough. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. It's humbling for someone. I mean, for someone to take notice of the work you're doing. I mean, I can't tell you what that feeling is. That's a great feeling, right? You know,
right? Oh yeah.
That you've been approached. It's an amazing feeling, man. I mean, gosh, that's just I can't describe it, you know. But yeah, you know, opportunities, doors are gonna open, man, and that's a great thing, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm doing it. You know, and to connect with human beings, other human beings, and I just feel like, again, man, this has been like, I don't know, yeah, it sounds corny, right? This is my calling, you know, or whatever. But no. I'm really enjoying it, man.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Do you ever feel like maybe podcasting is oversaturated, where it's like everybody's doing it?
You know,
Like I get that feeling sometimes. You know, I do. You know, like us. Like it seems like 2019, or it maybe has to do with the pandemic. Like everybody's at home that has nothing to do. Like, hey, well, I'll just get mics, and you know, or sometimes you don't even need mics. You know, you really don't.
You need your smartphone.
Yeah, your smartphone with a good headset. You know,
Yeah.
that's all you need. But like there's times when I feel like they're like, everybody's podcasting. Why would I even do this? But then that's when that mind starts to play games on you, and you're doing that competing thing. You know, like oh, you know, and I'm not chasing anybody. I just want to chase my goal.
Yeah.
You know, and my goal right now is, you know, have fun, do your thing, and if it comes, it comes. But you know, do you ever feel like that? Like, oh, there's too many podcasters, or
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
100%. You know, but when you look at the data,
that was a trick question. I was throwing that on you. No, I'm kidding.
no, you're right, man.
Yeah.
I do. I've had those moments where like, man, yeah, I'm competing with, you know, your mind starts telling you stuff, man.
Yeah,
I'm
like
competing with 1 million podcasters.
Right.
You know, there's like 1.4 million podcasts on the books, right?
Yeah.
But you know, when you look into the data, when you really delve into it, you know, a lot of, I don't know, I want to say over probably 60%, or I don't whatever, 40 to 60% of those podcasts are what they call dark, right? Where, yeah, you know, you had a group of friends, 3-4 drunk guys, hey, let's start a podcast, man. You know, they're up at one night, and let's do it, dude. Yeah, let's do it. You know, and you know, so they actually go through the time, and they start a podcast.
Yeah.
It's on the books. They do maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and then you never hear them again.
Yeah.
You know, there's who knows how many of those are. You know, those
Yeah,
are
yeah.
dark podcasts. They're on the books. They're listed as podcasts.
Yeah.
Active podcasts, but
Right.
they're not even doing episodes.
Well, how many times have you searched for a podcast and then it comes up the results and you're like, last episode recorded was in 2015
Yeah,
or 2016, and you're like, what the hell?
exactly.
But no, yeah, same, yeah. So I still consistency is key to podcasting, right? You know, you got to be consistent. If you're not putting shit out, if you go 2 weeks and you don't put anything out, you're probably gonna get forgotten.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's how bad it is. In 2 weeks, you'll probably get forgotten.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, that's why I have one once a week. There's people that are putting out more, dude. They're more,
Yeah.
more content every week. They're putting out 3 or 4.
Mhm.
That's a Driscoll Kid is putting out on his Instagram. I mean, he may not have like the Apple Podcast and the YouTube, but on Instagram, it's lit. You know, he's got the deep talks, and he's putting out 3 to 5 episodes a week.
Yep.
You know,
I told him, man, you need to go into a full-fledged podcast.
yeah,
But you know, that's probably what he likes to do, man, and that more power to him. You know.
Right.
But yeah, that's a great point, man. That's a
Yeah.
great point. For myself, you know, I think with my circumstances, my livings, my lifestyle, everything that I got going on, you know, I think right now once a week is totally doable. I don't want to compromise quality over, you know, just
Right.
trying to put up, you know.
yeah.
I think I could maybe go 2 twice a week. But right now, again, you know, where I'm at, I think once a week is really, you know, suitable and applicable to my situation, and it works. It
Yeah.
works, man.
No, I'm the same way. Once a week, it gives you time to promote the show before and after. You know, so it's really exciting. You know, once you start doing twice, because I did twice a week on the other podcast.
Yeah,
And it's almost as if you forget the last one you just did. It's 3 days ago you just did it. You know, you kind of like forget about it. But
yeah,
but no, the once a week thing, it's cool. I like it. It gives you that time to promote the guests and,
for sure.
you know, interact and do all that stuff. It's fun. You know, so
If I may say,
Dale.
I did a series with just recently, probably what are we in December? I want to say early October.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was early October. I had a 3-part series with 3 I had 2 football coaches, and then I brought on some ex-teammates, good friends of mine, football teammates. And I did a 3-part series. I did a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, man, it was it was challenging. It was challenging, man, because doing all the post-production, everything that goes into it, man.
Can you do, if you wanted to, have multiple guests, like different screens like that? You can't. You did it with the ATL guys, right? Was it ATL?
Yeah. Oh, the Kentucky.
It was Kentucky. Okay. They had like 5 guests, I think you had on.
Speak Your Minds.
Speak Your Minds. Yeah. So it was a producer, and then he had like all his artists, right?
Yep. It was the CEO of the company, and then he had all his artists. Yeah. And one of them was a producer. So there was me plus 5 on the screen.
6 of you, 6 screens going on.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was fun, man.
Trying to manage, like, was anybody talking? I'm sure you guys had people talking over each other at some times.
I think, yeah, we did. I think, at the beginning of the episode, if you watch the episode, I was having some technical difficulties live, and I couldn't figure it out, man. And then finally, I think I was getting a feedback from one of my guests. They were in the same room.
Oh,
and they were getting feedback from each other.
Yeah.
I was hearing like a delay.
Yeah.
So I think we finally figured it out. We had them turn off their YouTube was on, and so I had them X out, and we figured it out. But yeah, we had some moments where kind of everybody was kind of talking, and that naturally that's going to happen. If you have 5-6 people in one conversation,
right?
But as time went on during that episode, I think we all kind of got a little bit more comfortable with each other, and more people were talking where one person was speaking at a time, and then the next person was speaking. So we kind of got a little bit more of a dynamic as time went on. But no, that was a great episode. It was a lot of fun, man. But yeah, it was challenging for sure.
Right. I think at some point it turns into like a choreographed like dance, right? That you kind of like all like adjust to, right?
Yeah, and as the host, you have to be able to mediate all that.
Oh yeah,
you have to
you're a conductor. You're a conductor.
You're a conductor.
Point. Yeah,
absolutely, bro.
That's challenging in its own, right there.
Yeah, exactly, man. You got you're trying to, you got, and you want to keep everyone engaged, so you want to get everybody involved,
right,
in the conversation, man. And you want to learn about each individual guest. And so that was a great episode. Check that episode out on Profile Pod TV. It's Speak Your Minds Entertainment. Shout out to them out of Kentucky, man. They're doing big things. And a lot of talented individuals in that company. Do
you remember having any of your guests that you've had on? You've had almost 140, give or take.
No. Right now I'm at close to 100. I'm nearing 100.
Oh, you did once a week, right?
Yeah.
So, once a week. So you'd be at 52 weeks. Yeah. You're getting there, right?
Yeah.
So, in all those episodes, do you remember having like something that was just like, do I put this out? Do I not put this out? Like, did that ever cross your mind? Because I know you did some that were pre-recorded. Anything like where like botched interviews almost that you can remember?
Yeah.
Without putting anybody on blast, obviously.
No, you know what, man? I think for the most part, I've been blessed, man, in that area, because I haven't had that interview where it was just completely, it was just a complete, mishap, where it just nothing went right. The guest was boring, or the guest, no. The answer to your question is no.
No. That's good.
Yeah, I think everybody who comes on, and I think a lot of that has to do with the pre-prep, prep leading up to the episode. Just kind of developing a little rapport, informing the guest of how everything's going to transpire, the process. This is what you're going to expect. Just the professionalism, and just communicating. Yeah. So nobody, the guests, when they come on, they already know what to expect. They already know, they're in the know. Yeah. And there aren't any, I'm not going to pull any funny stuff on you. That wouldn't make sense. That would be just unprofessional and rude. And But yeah, I think I've been blessed with that in that area. I think.
But you doing like a lot of Zooms or I keep saying Zooms, but video conferencing, right? Is that what we're saying? Video conferencing,
live streaming.
Live streaming.
There you go.
So when you're live streaming, you've never had anybody that goes, "Oh, I'll be right back," and then they come back and then they're like, they forgot to put their pants on or something like that. you know, like okay, because the reason why I say that is because you hear of all these stories of these kids at their class in class and or just people that are working and they're doing Zoom conferencing and they just forget that their audio's on and they start talking all kinds of shit or whatever. You know, like you never had anything like that. Huh?
No. You know what? Cool. I think
professionalism right there.
Exactly, man. And my guests have been great, man. They've been great. You know, they haven't thrown any curveballs at me for the most part. I think I've had maybe a couple say, you know what? I got to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. Yeah. You know, but it's been minimal, man. It's been minimal. It's been, yeah. I guess I've all been amazing. They all push through. We get through, for the most part, I bring on a guest for an hour to an hour and a half, and we knock it out, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's good.
For sure, man.
Dude, well, this has been really fun. We need to do another one. We're going to do another one. This is the end of the year. We're obviously coming to an end on this podcast, this episode. Is there anything that you want to leave behind to everybody? A little quick shout out of what to expect. Profile Pod TV.
Man, I you know what? I think 2021, I'm expecting big things from, I'm going to go hard in 2021. And I'm already booked till February.
Nice.
I got some really cool guests coming on.
Right.
I'm really excited. I got a couple musicians. I have a model coming up. She runs her own modeling agency. She's out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
I have I have 3 musicians and 1 model coming on in January. And then I got a chef booked for February.
Nice.
The Hood Foodie's coming on in February.
There you go. That's what's up.
If that's how I'm going to start my 2021, then you know what? That's
it's gonna be hard to follow all that, dude.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
That summer of 2021 is gonna be difficult. That's when you have to call your old boy right here.
Yeah, no, you're right, man.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna up the ante, man.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I gotta up the ante.
Mm-hmm.
I'm challenging myself. I'm gonna be just putting out amazing content for all the followers out there, the viewers, who everybody wants to see it, the audience. And yeah, man, the sky's the limit, man. I'm gonna keep going after my dreams and my goals, and taking care of my family, and just going hard, man. 100%, man. Like I said, I'm just going after what I enjoy doing, and I want, like I said, I'm not gonna live with regrets, man. So I'm gonna go 100% after my goal, man.
That's awesome.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. So I can't wait. I can't wait, man.
No, me neither. I can't wait to see what you got next. I mean, I know I've said it that this is my hobby. This is why I do it. But when I hear you coming out here and I see how dedicated you are to it, makes me feel good, man. That you're all about it. You're ready to go. You're gonna go gun through on this, dude. And anyway, I can help, dude. Please let me know, man. If I can send you anybody, or let me know, man. Like it's just that's what we got to do. We got to help each other out.
Oh man, no, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Likewise, man. Likewise. And like I said earlier, man, you taught me so much already today from your setup and everything. And I want to thank you for having me on your podcast in the tap room, Talking Again podcast. Finally here, man.
Yeah.
And let's get the fuck out of here with 2020.
Yeah.
We're moving forward, looking straight ahead. 2021,
not looking back.
That's right, baby.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year.
It's been crazy, man.
It's been a crazy year.
Absolutely.
And to that, we say adios.
Peace.
Live every Tuesday, you know the deal. We talking again. You now tuned in to the tap in.